when the shit hits the fan in your estate agency. Today, I'm joined by Toby Phillips, who's the boss man of Martin & Co. and the Xperience franchise brands. Toby, thanks for joining me today. I hope you didn't mind my colourful language.
No, I'm more used to it.
Fantastic. What advice would you give when you're training your negs, your valuers, your branch managers, if you have multiple branch, when they have their worst day, when the poo hits the whirly thing in the corner?
Yeah. Absolutely. So let me give you an example of the worst day in modern day agency. Okay, so modern day doesn't exist, however, in our world, because we haven't worked, you and I, in a branch in 2024, have we, as front-end negotiators. So imagine a world, Chris, where the Wi-Fi and the internet breaks down for the day. British Gas turn up outside your office and they say, right, we cannot allow any incoming traffic to the road, but we can give you a special pass that says you're allowed to go out. BT then ring and say, we've got a problem with incoming phone calls, but we've got a special license to say you can make outgoing phone calls. So you've got a day, no emails, no one's going to come in, nobody is going to phone you in. So you've got a day where you're dead. No one's going to see your window, no one's going to see your website. How do you book on that day 3 market appraisals?
Let me guess, telephone.
So you can phone out, but where are you going to look, hunt, gather? And this is where the whole point of estate agency for me kicks in. This was us in 1988, okay? So you have to find, and it used to be called the yellow pages, or the dead files, or the last 5-year-old completions.
Could I go in and have a look? Is my internet down, you say?
Internet's down.
Well, well, you're right, you've got the paper files, because you've got to hold them for 6 years.
Of course you have.
And here's an interesting fact, is that 50% of people who've moved in the last year have only been in their house for 6 years and 5 weeks or less.
Exactly. So if my negotiator says, well, can't do anything today, sorry, got no systems, got no one's ringing in, we might as well call it a day. But you can go out, so you can go and door knock. You can go and canvass all of your competitors' properties. You can ring your dead filing. You can ring the last 6 years, 5 months worth of dead filing. So the point I'd make is, I think the worst day, we talked earlier about what that proactive negotiation, where those 5 MAs are coming from. We talked in a previous video. I want those days in my branch every day, because that gives me incremental business that is not coming through to me. And I want my negotiators and my teams to be hunter-gatherers, I've started on 0, you booked me 2 MAs today that I needed to get in the morning meeting, I've got to go out and get them. That's the psychology that every branch needs.
It's interesting that I was listening to an Australian podcast for real estate agents, because you've got to call them that. And one of the things that they are very passionate about is, for the first 2 hours of every day, that's out and out biz gen. That's not chasing vowels, that's not talking to vendors.
No.
That's just, and do you think we as an industry are really rubbish at generating our own business?
I think we are. I think we talked in earlier videos about CRMs, we talked about millennials, and
They're afraid of the phone.
But actually, if it isn't on the lap, it's not happening. I've got some fantastic franchisees who run, a gentleman called Simon Gregory and a gentleman called Ben Mitchell, who run Parker's, which is one of my most expanding brands at the moment. They will be door knocking, canvassing every day. Just over the branch, probably see it in Pangbourne, very upmarket area.
Where's Pangbourne?
Pangbourne's in a very nice part of Berkshire.
Right.
We've got some great agents around us, some really big high net worth brands. We've taken market share in that town purely. Do we look the best? No. Do we have the staff that fit that area? not here. But actually, have we caught everybody napping by the bad day approach? I've got the business owners are out door knocking, canvassing, touting, offering a world-class service in an area which actually I wouldn't have said we were the right brand for that area. But Simon and Ben have gone at that area and they've really built the market share. So for me, it's how we duplicate that attitude, everything else, where you do start from zero. I don't think we're good in agency at producing our own business. I think we leave it to
wait for the stuff to come in.
Portals.
We're like pizza firms. So we just wait for the phone to ring.
Well, how many times have you heard that you've had people on this sofa said, my best negotiator is Rightmove? Well, that's terrible.
It is. It's match and send.
Yeah, it's match and
Put
mail.
it on Rightmove and press the button on CRM, match it, email it off, whack it on Rightmove and wait for the phone calls to come in.
And I'll go one step further. We talked earlier about partnership agreements with staff coming in. So if I said to a business owner of 20 negotiators, who's your best negotiator, factually, how many would be able to tell me? Whose desk is worth the most value in your business, factually? People will say to me, well, I don't know because I pay office commission. But you must know, because part of your succession planning is you want the best person with the best skill set to then raise their responsibilities. So it all comes back to the most proactive on a bad day, but also being able to measure the success and rewarding that success accordingly. So for me, we should have 2 bad days a week, but we should structure the fact that those first 2 hours are always, how many doors are we knocking? Are we knocking the last 6 weeks price reduction from our competitors? What are we hunting gathering? Are we then reverting back to a local house to sales to make sure that we are touting the right rows, etc.? Little and often, it's like a dimmer switch. If you're not proactive, you just turn it on and off, you won't notice the next day. But in 6 weeks' time, you'll know because your MAs are going to drop. Leave the switch on. Your process, your programming is every day for 2 hours, you are pounding the streets, pounding the phone to create more business. And that's not for today or for tomorrow, it's for 6 weeks' time. But if you stop putting it in the funnel,
won't come out the end.
Won't come out the end.
Thank you for your time today, Tony.
Pleasure, Chris.
Really, really good. Thank you.
Pleasure.